everyone is calling it AI, and I wish we could go back in time to like last year and correct the terminology used, because the reality is like ChatGPT is not like it falls under the wider umbrella term of artificial intelligence, but it's really a machine learning tool. And machine learning is not exactly the same as artificial intelligence. And there's a history of like AI has been spoken about for decades. You know, when computers came along, like you have the first ChatGPT was, I think, Eliza or something. It's a software program from the 1960s that functioned in the same way. You chat with it and it gives you a response back. So like this idea of an artificial intelligence that is as smart as you and can interact with you in any way, shape, or form through speech, text, and anything else, like that idea is old. But because people have like mixed with sci-fi and reality, people have a view, like you said, of what artificial intelligence is. And it's not like we're not seeing that exact scenario play out now, which is confusing people. Because when you think artificial intelligence, this is why people go, oh, ChatGPT is dumb. Like it can't do facts. It can't do this. It gets a lot of things wrong. It's because in their mind, they expect an intelligence that is smarter than them and knows everything. And so it should get all the facts right. But if that's your view of it, then you're also limiting yourself and you're shooting yourself in the foot, because the way to think about ChatGPT and all these other tools like it, we're talking about generative AI. So these are tools that can generate, at this point, almost anything: audio, video, text, whatever creative form we know can be now generated. And because of that, because it falls on the side of creativity, these tools like ChatGPT you're better off thinking of it as a collaborator, a creative assistant, someone you can brainstorm with. And even when I say that, someone you can brainstorm with, we anthropomorphize AI all the time. And I do it too, because it's right now is the easiest way to explain it. But because it's easy to explain it that way, we also lose a lot of clarity around what it is. So when I say it can help you, it doesn't actually on its own help you. It becomes a reflection of you when you use it. Whatever input you give it, it'll give you output back based on the input. And so if ChatGPT is ever able to, or other language models, if they're ever able to transcend what they are, which is their language models, and so it can only give you data back or output back based on what it's been trained on. And because it's been trained on what us as humans have produced, it'll only ever be able to reflect back what already exists. The key moment will come when it can give us something that did not exist before. And we're starting to see a little bit of that. So they've trained models on like protein, what do you call it, protein mapping and so on, where you can synthesize new proteins. And you see this with drug discovery. Like if you have models that combine the science of like drugs and medicine and compounds and protein folds and so on, it's starting to become able to create new elements, new things, new drugs out of almost thin air, in a way that when scientists look at the output, they go, yeah, I would have never thought about that. Like I don't think we would have, like, maybe give it 30 years and a lot of smart people in one room for 30 years sitting there chugging information. Maybe we would have together been able to come up with these combinations. But we're getting to the point where people, like smart people, like scientists, are going, yeah, I did not see that coming. Or like, yeah, I can't, like, nothing in the previous literature of like scientific literature and research indicated that we could do this with proteins. But now AI tells us we can. And then when we try it out in the real world, it works.
Oh my God. So that's like,
so
that's actually,
do you see what I'm saying? We're getting to the point where like it used to be limited by our knowledge because it was trained on our knowledge. But we're getting to the point where it's starting to surpass what we could collectively do, even given enough time.
Sam, you're all right. This is not good, but you're kind of taking away a little bit of my cope. Like I was always looking at AI very similar to what you were saying, where I was saying like, it's machine learning. I understood it almost instantly when I started to play with it. Like, Sam's a veteran. I'm a sort of I've been through maybe my first couple of battles. I'm a little bit ahead of the curve with this. So I was playing with AI a couple of months ago when it first came out. And I could see very quickly that it was not conscious, and it was not making decisions in the way that people understand it. And it's not a personality. It's almost like a pattern organizer that generates these. It's generative. I think the word generative is really powerful for it. And as Sam was saying earlier, it can give you 100 tweets, but 10 of them might be relevant, and you probably have to edit those 10. But of those 10, they're going to be money and you'll produce them way faster than you would otherwise.